Welcome to our Feature of the Week video. Today I'm introducing you to the automated reporting feature integrated in PKanalix. This feature allows summarizing result tables, plots, and project-related information into a Word docx file directly from the user interface. You can easily share results with colleagues, clients, or regulatory agencies without using an external tool. It has been available since MonolixSuite version 2023. We already have a video on generating a report in Monolix. You can find the link in the info box below. In the previous video about generating a report, we introduced the feature and provided a general overview. In this tutorial, we explain the mechanisms of report generation in more detail and show how to create custom reports. I have prepared a PKanalix project that includes plasma concentration data from 18 subjects. These subjects are evenly divided into 3 dose groups, 6 in each group. The drug was administered orally as a single dose. I have already calculated the NCA parameters. And generated all plots, which I have customized. To communicate the results, I want to summarize them in an analysis report. For that, I click on the menu bar on Export Generate Report, which opens a window with 2 options. Either I create a default report that includes a predefined set of tables and all plots of my project in a simple, non-modifiable format. Or I select a custom option for more flexibility, allowing tailored reports but which require a bit more effort. The default option is the quickest strategy for generating reports. It may be sufficient to share results internally with colleagues or to create basic presentations of analysis outcomes. To generate a default report, keep the default radio button selected. The report is saved next to the PKanalix project, unless I disable this toggle and specify a different path. I keep the default option. I can also modify the file name if needed. Finally, I click the green Generate Report button to complete the process. I can either open the generated file directory or I can access it via the folder in which it was saved. The default report starts with project information, such as the project name, dataset name, and report creation date. Next, it presents the following tables: one listing the NCA analysis settings, another showing individual NCA parameter values, a summary table with descriptive statistics for NCA parameters and concentrations over time. For the plots, it includes all plots shown in the GUI, with all user customizations. There is the time profiles of the individual concentrations, a bar chart of the dose groups, a spaghetti plot of time profiles based on NCA settings, individual profiles with regression lines in the terminal phase, and box plots of NCA parameters per dose group. How did PKanalix create this document? The mechanism behind the automated report feature is based on templates. A template is a Word docx file that contains and specifies the placement and layout of an object, here tables and plots, in a document. The details of each object and its final layout in the report are specified using placeholders. Each placeholder represents one actual object, whose properties are described within the Lixoft PLH tags. When you generate the report, PKanalix replaces the placeholder content with the actual table or plot. A default report also has a template. Let's have a look at it. The default report template has exactly the same format as the default report. The content, layout, and order of the tables and plots depends on the placement of the placeholders. This placeholder corresponds to the summary table of the individual NCA parameters. It specifies what descriptive statistical metrics to use and how to display them, which parameters to display, and additional settings such as units, decimal places, font size, fit to content, caption, caption placement, and table style. Scrolling down to the time profile spaghetti plot, we find the plot placeholder with all its settings. Let's compare them. The arguments represent various properties and settings. These include dimensions, caption and placement, summarizing metric, display of sensor data, time vector on the x-axis, legend display, individual profile display, time axis ticks, y-axis log transformation, and the covariate used to split the trend lines. A template can also contain project-related information in addition to placeholders for tables and plots. There are special keywords framed with percentage signs during report generation. As for placeholders, these keywords are replaced with the corresponding object they represent. The table containing the NCA settings uses only the keywords. In addition, templates can include conditional tags such as "Are task results available NCA?" to conditionally display report sections. For example, the following non-compartmental analysis section will only appear if the NCA task has been executed. Thanks to this tag, you can use a template with additional analysis sections beyond those in the project without causing an error. To summarize, reports in MonolixSuite are generated using a template-based system. A template contains the project-related information in the form of placeholders and keywords, which are then replaced during the report generation with the objects they represent. To recapitulate, the integrated default option allows to quickly combining result tables and plots, either original or customized, into a fixed format analysis report. Plots in the default report correspond to those displayed in the GUI, so they can be customized. However, it contains only a predefined set of tables. Any customization you have done in the GUI, such as splitting by those group, for instance, will not be taken into account. A custom report template gives you more flexibility. If the default report is too simple for your needs in a project, the custom option allows designing a report that meets the company's in-house or client standards. I select the custom option by clicking the custom radio button. This requires loading a template with placeholders specifying settings, tables and plots you want to include in your report. Let's see how to create a custom report template. The idea is to start from a Word document which can already include text and your usual report layout with title page, logos and sections. In this file, we need to include placeholders which will be replaced by tables and plots. But don't worry, you don't need to write all the placeholders from scratch. Instead, you can copy-paste them from the GUI. Let's check first how it works for plots. I open my template, in which I have already established a document structure. I've included keywords for the PKanalix project name, the dataset name, and the creation date on the front page. I have also created a table of contents, a list of tables and plots. The report content that is not dependent on PKanalix output is written as it would be in the final report. I have also already added some placeholders. Now I will show you how to add another one. I can decide how I want to design the layout of the plots in my report. Here, for example, I want to show the plots in linear scale and in semi-log scale next to each other. So I need to insert a placeholder for the trend lines of the 3 dosing groups in semi-log scale into the empty right cell. So how do I transfer this placeholder to my report template? I customize the plots in the GUI the way I want them in my report. I click on the small word icon above the plot. This opens the placeholder for report template window in which I can see the description of the corresponding plot. I click on Preview to see what the plot would look like in a Word file. This is handy since I can immediately see whether the plot might need further modifications. Suppose I want the plot to be a little smaller. I can change the dimensions directly in the placeholder. To write the caption above the plot, I set Caption Above from False to True. The Preview button is helpful because I can instantly check whether my manual adjustments in the placeholder have been applied correctly. How do I now transfer this placeholder to my report template? I click on the Copy to Clipboard button and insert the placeholder at the desired position in the template. Then I save and close the document. Now I generate the report by going back to the Export menu to Generate Report. This time I select the Custom Radio button and browse for my template that I have just modified. And then I just click on Generate Report. The keywords on the front page have been replaced by their actual settings. I scroll down to the mean curve plots. The left plot has no caption. To harmonize this, I remove the caption of the right plot. I return to the interface for the corresponding plot. I click on the word icon, adjust the dimensions, and delete the caption and caption above arguments. To check my adjustments, I click on Preview. Now the plot looks just right. I copy the new placeholder to the clipboard. I open my template. I scroll down to the desired position and insert it into the template. Then save and close it. Finally, I generate the report again, using the updated template. Now the plots are standardized and require no further adjustments. For reproducibility, I'll add the source information below the plots using a keyword that references the PKanalix project. I close the report, open the template, and below the plots I write source project_file path. There are more options to customize your report. We explain all keywords and what they represent on our documentation webpage in a dedicated section. Next, I would like to add result tables to my report. The principle is the same. The only difference is that placeholders for tables offer more flexibility than for plots. For example, I removed the descriptive statistics metrics that I do not want to display in my summary table. I delete parameters from the list that are not relevant for my report. And in display I can specify settings such as the font size. In fact, I would rather display the metrics by dosing group than pooled over all individuals. To do so, I copy my placeholder so that the adjustments I have just made are not lost. I click on Close. I stratify the table in the GUI, and the stratification is now adopted in the placeholder. I paste the previous placeholder settings above the stratification block. Now the summary table is split per dosing group. For my report, I would also like to have the statistical metrics listed one below the other in a column and the parameters listed one next to each other in a column each. In other words, I want a table transposed along metrics and parameters. This can be easily implemented by changing the direction of the metric arrangement from horizontal to vertical in the placeholder. With further adjustments in the placeholder, I organized the table so that it corresponds exactly to my expectations. In data, I changed the order of parameters. In display, I set the significant digit from 4 to 2 and add a caption. Then I rename the covariate to dosing group. As you can see, placeholders offer more flexibility in designing and displaying tables in the report than the GUI. Please check our online documentation for all table settings and their correct syntax. Now I update the template. I customize the placeholder. I click on Copy to Clipboard, open the template, insert the placeholder in the desired location, save, close the template, and generate the report from the interface. And this is how the table now looks like. Let's recap. To create a custom template for the custom report, start in the GUI. Customize the plots exactly as you want them to appear in the report. Click on the word icon above the plot or table to make the placeholder visible. Use the preview function to see how the plot or table will look in the Word document and to check if the placeholder needs adjustments. If adjustments are needed, make them directly in the placeholder and repeat the process as often as necessary. Click on Copy to Clipboard and paste the placeholder in the template at the desired location. Remember to save and close the template before creating the report. In addition to the flexibility to customize tables and plots in the report generated by MonolixSuite, you can add a customizable watermark to the report. And choose from different table styles in the display section. The table styles follow default Microsoft Word styles. If you select a table style, it is applied to all tables in the report. Note, this setting can be overridden by defining the style directly in the table placeholder. To summarize, a custom report offers full customization of tables and plots, allowing different versions of the same plot to be included in a single report and full flexibility for table display. The report template is reusable, though creating it initially requires some effort. Once the template is set up, generating an analysis report is quick and efficient. The advantages of the automated reporting tool in PKanalix are its time efficiency, especially if a template already exists. The time you would spend manually creating reports can be invested in creating a template that can be reused for future analysis. Its customizability and flexibility. Reports can easily be tailored to meet specific needs, including custom layouts, plots, tables, and watermarks. It streamlines the reporting process within MonolixSuite, eliminating the need for external tools. And it ensures consistent formatting and accurate data representation, minimizing the risk of errors that could occur when using another reporting tool. Thank you and see you next time.